Hey mathematicians, let's do your homework. All right, so number one has a bunch of different expressions, and we're looking for answers that are -9. So we need to remember our adding integer rules or multiplying and dividing integer rules. So for A, you can check it with an integer worst chart. For B, you need to remember what a negative times a positive is. Same rule for C, what's a positive divided by a negative. For D, remember that subtraction is basically addition of integers. So you can use the same thing and say, oh, I have 6 negatives because they see that minus sign, and I have 3 negatives because a minus sign is the same thing as a negative sign. So you need to figure out which ones have a value of -9. Number 2, an inch is 1/12 of a foot, which does not describe 15 inches when we change it to feet. So this is another way of saying our ratio table, which you can find on the star chart of inches to feet. 12 inches is 1 foot. What is 15 inches? So you can change it. You can write your answer in decimal form. You can write your answer in fraction form. You can double check because obviously these two are not the same, so you should not be picking. If you can decide, oh, one of those fractions is equivalent to G or J, 3 of them are equivalent and 1 of them is not. Here is a bunch of dot plots and our data set that created it. So you need to decide which dot plot represents this data set. So my advice is go through and be like, oh, look, at the end I see 1, 6. This one has 1, 6. This one has 1, 6. This one has 1, 6. Oh, this one has 2 6s. So clearly that's not my answer. And you go through and you check it like that. On the next page, a cookie recipe calls for 2 cups of chocolate chips and a ½ cup of pecan pieces. Which statement is true about the relationship? So what I do is I write on top of the answer choices. I see the amount of chocolate chips. It's the same for all 4 of these. The amount of chocolate chips is 2 cups. So I'm just going to write a big old 2 right here. I'm going to remember my vocab words for an equation, and everyone has is. So we're basically saying 2 is, 2 equals. They're all multiplicative problems, something, because each answer choice is different, times, and then they all say the amount of pecan pieces, which is 0.5. Now you can guess and check each answer choice, or you can treat this like the algebra problem it is. 2 equals, remember the commutative property says I can multiply in whatever order, and if I'm writing this like algebra, I'm going to write my number first and my unknown second. I can divide both sides to isolate my unknown, and whatever 2 divided by a half is, that number is either going to be 2, it's going to be this, it's going to be this, it's going to be this. One of those is your answer choice. Number 5, the ratio of dogs to cats. Okay, dogs came first, so that means 3 is dogs. I'm going to just make myself a little table. Dogs and cats. Dogs is 3, cats is 4. Which of the following is possible? The possible number of dogs and cats in the animal shelter. We don't know exactly how many it is, so that's why we're saying possible. And it's only possible if they are equivalent. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, going through this, I know that 12 is in my 3's tables, 15 is in my 3's tables, 15 is in my 3's tables. Ooh, 15, 18, 21. 20 dogs is never going to be possible. Now do the same for cats. We're looking at our 4's tables. Which of those could end up in the 4's tables? And if you have multiple options, you want to make sure that they match up. So like if you say, yeah, 4, but you saw an option that said 12 and 4, the 4 is up here for cats and the 12 is down here for dogs. So they're not on the same level. Even though both numbers would appear, they're not going to appear together, and that's an important distinction as well. Last one, number 6. Charissa cut out 48 small parallelograms. Remember that this is the area formula for a parallelogram. The parallelograms had a base of 8.5 and a height of 4, so you need to find the area of one parallelogram. But remember that that's not the answer because she actually has 48 total parallelograms. And now you're done with your homework.